Welcome to the Beauty Talk Podcast. I'm Brianna.
And I'm Jazz.
And we're your beauty industry advocates. Alrighty.
So last time we were talking about, basically we're going to give you look into our journey as to where we are today, and we even kind of touched on the subject of us like not even wanting salons anymore, how salons are like the pinnacle of you've made it in the beauty industry, and how it's not all that it's cracked up to be. So,
just our growth from zero to where we are, and then like what we thought at zero, and then how we think now at, let's just say it's 100. You know what I'm saying?
So tell me what's one thing, like just from like take it back to your beginning, as you were just starting out, like what's one thing that you didn't know that you knew now that you wish you knew then?
So when you say the beginning, are you saying like my beginning of actually working for myself, or when I was like an assistant? Because I was an assistant too for a while. When
I would say just your hair journey to, overall.
Okay, so what was it again? One thing I knew, what was it?
One thing that you wish you knew back then that you didn't know. That you know now that you didn't know then that you wish you knew back then.
I wish from the jump I would have honed in on what I do and what I do well and push that. Okay. Because at the very beginning, of course, like all of us, we all do all kind of things, right? Yeah. We just take whatever comes through the door. So like at the beginning, I wish I would have like just been like, oh my gosh, boop, hair extensions, boop, healthy hair, these certain things, and stayed heavy in that lane, because I would be so much further along, because I would have focused a little bit harder on it versus just trying to do everything. I mean, like, even like ponytail, girl, right. I don't,
I ain't doing no ponytail.
I ain't trying to do like all that stuff we was doing just to do it because somebody asked us to do it, versus me being particular. Now, I actually still was that, and I actually was taking classes on these certain things. But I remember in the beginning, like I worked for somebody who did short hair, and I was like, oh, I want to do short hair one day. When I absolutely do not want to do short hair. Right. So it's like, I wish I would have focused.
How do you? I feel like. Isn't that part of the process, though, of kind of figuring out where you what you're good at and what you do and don't want to do, right. I will say for me, it was probably like, as far as like getting to what I really like to do, because, we both specialize, it was more money and in enjoyment, I don't enjoy the 15 steps that it takes to make a good ponytail, make a good smooth ponytail, and it also didn't pay enough money for me to be like, this is worth it. So I didn't enjoy it, and the money wasn't there. So that was kind of like always my two deciding factors. But I think that is something that like every beginner kind of goes through different, just trying everything, Especially if you, like, I know I started probably around 11. How old were you when you started?
Well, technically I started braiding hair at 7.
Okay, so it being that young, I think you're going to naturally just kind of go through, transition through all the phases and figuring out what you do and don't like.
Yes, because baby, I was high school, y'all know. If y'all on here, if y'all know me, y'all went to high school with me, y'all know. We was in my mama's living room doing braids all the time. Me and my little sister would be like tag teaming. Like we was making money. Like, it's so crazy. Like thinking back at that, like, dang, I was out here getting some money. But it's like, but you can't. I think we most.
Well, I ain't gonna say that, but I feel like a lot of us started off braiding. I started off braiding too. Like that was the first thing my mom had taught me how to braid. So I learned how to braid, and that was the first thing I made money off of, I should say. But I also learned very quickly. Again, the money, the amount of time that's spent don't match the money you get paid for doing braids. And I still to this day, like I have a huge respect for braiders, because baby, I can't do it
at all.
I don't feel like there's. I don't know. I'd probably be the person that they dragging on social media, because I'm charging you $1,000 for these braids. Yeah. Like the time and just the wrist work that it takes to put into this. Like
everything. And just being with, like, because you can't make the money you want to make unless you charge what you need to charge. So like, let's say you used to making $1,000 a day. You need to make that $1,000 a day off this one person, because it's going to take 8 hours to get their hair done.
Long. Yep, if not longer. Yes. Depending on what style they're getting. So like that, I did it, in high school and stuff, but like, when I got into the shop, I never had a stage of braiding like at all professionally. After I was licensed, never.
I can't. People ask me, you know what I'm saying, but it's like, go get you a professional. I'm not professional in that. Like, I want you to have somebody that has perfected that, and that you can, feel good about the money that you're spending. You ain't
right. And that's the thing too. I never wanted to, like, short hair. It's funny you brought that up. Short hair, I suck. I tell people, I did it for a little while. And I had a couple clients, like I had an older lady, she just didn't care. She just wanted to come to me. I was not that good at it. I took classes, trying to perfect it. And I just feel like I wasn't gifted with that.
Yeah.
Like, the spikes need to go certain ways, baby. You're going to look, when I tell you terrible, like somebody just electrocuted you, it's not going to be cute.
It's just
not going to be cute. And that's not my strong suit.
Yeah, and I would expect you to respect that.
Right.
Because, like, I don't want to
come in here and get this done and looking crazy. Like, and then I feel bad for charging you because I was just looking like this. Like, with your hair, it's like they just make it move and it just looks so good when it's done right.
It's an art.
I
and
never
even
did
knowing
that.
how to, like, they be like this, and then it's like, boom, it's done. I'm like, if I do like this, it's not going to do that. It's not going to do that. If I comb it this way, I'm like, what?
It ain't going back. It just, and the cut would be there, and it's me. I'm not good at it. Yeah. So it's funny that you said that because short hair, baby, that's not my thing. You will look crazy as fuck.
Yeah, I say that all the time. But like, baby, you don't want that from me.
Not
you
at all.
Want me to do that?
You do not.
You don't.
Not.
What? I'm turning you down. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I'm turning you down.
I'm good. I'm good off that money. I don't want that one because.
And too, it's like I think that when people see like that you're great at something, they feel like, oh, you're just gonna be great at anything. Like, oh, you can do it. No, I cannot. I can't. So, as far as like schooling, because I know that you got your license and everything. Is that something that you did like in adulthood during high school? Like, how did you get to that point where it's like, okay, I'm going to school, I'm about to do hair?
So I actually I moved to Pike, or my high school. I moved to my high school in 11th grade. I didn't know that they offered that, in 11th grade. I was new. I was just trying to, be low key, but it didn't last long. But so 12th grade, I went to their program that they had to do your cosmetology, So I was like, okay, let me try to get my license. Of course, I was, having fun, enjoying high school. So I half went. I did not finish. You're supposed to have 2 years to finish. I didn't finish, of course, because I only had 1 year to finish.
Yeah.
So then I got out. I took a break from it because I got into I was working for somebody. Became an assistant.
Oh, so you were assistant before you went to school?
No, so I was in school. I had half my hours.
Okay.
Got half my hours in cosmetology school from high school. Then I started becoming an assistant, and I started getting money. So then it was like I wasn't focused on getting my license.
Right.
So then literally right after that, after I worked for a couple of years, my boyfriend then, which is my husband now, but he was like,
you had another boyfriend?
No, girl.
About to be like, and who was that?
My same man, okay?
Okay, go ahead.
He was like, you need to get your license. Like, what are you doing? And then the person who I was working for was like, you need to get your license. Like, they was all like putting pressure on me. So I had to go back to school and pay my way, okay? Because in high school, we was paying trinkets.
It wasn't much.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, dang, I had to learn a lesson. I had to go back to school, finish my school, and then finally get my license. So I was all over the place. Like, I was.
So did they let you transfer your hours from high school?
They let me transfer 80% of my hours because I had a test. Yeah, so I was good. So like basically, I wasn't that far gone. You know what I'm saying? So I had to test and find out like how many hours I could actually take to as an adult.
Oh, that wasn't bad at all.
Yeah, so I mean, I finished, took my test, I passed.
Now, how long did it take for the remaining hours that you had for you to finish school? And were you like still assisting during that time?
Yeah, I was still working and doing everything, and it took me a year basically.
Okay, yeah, that's about average. Somebody else had asked me that, like, how long does cosmetology school take? Because they were kind of wondering like why so many people are avoiding school, And I'm like, if you go full time, it is about a year. If you go part time, it will take longer than that.
Yeah, but, and when you grow, it's hard to do it when you grown because you have responsibilities. So you have to work. Yeah. If you have children, you got your children. So it's hard to do it. So like I was working and doing stuff too. So it was like I would go a couple hours here, a couple hours there, and then they do give you like 150 hours towards your schooling if you work for someone.
Oh yeah, shadowing, yeah.
Yeah. So like stuff like that, I was like moving and shaking, trying to make it work, taking my tests in between, going when I could.
Right.
So it kind of took basically about a year, but once I got it done, I was so thankful. Jesus.
I know.
God, I'm passing this test one time. I'm not coming back. I don't want to do no extra school. Like school, I'm school. You're not gonna take a class. You don't get certified.
Right.
School. That is.
You didn't want no part of that. Huh?
Nah, I wasn't interested. So when did you go to school?
I did do. We actually went to the same high school. Not the same year, but we did go to the same high school. But I did do my my junior year. I started cosmetology. So I did my junior and senior year. I went through the summer. Actually, I was done with my cosmetology because I finished high school a semester early, my senior year. And by the time I got to that semester, because I actually enjoyed, like doing hair, and I grew up in a beauty shop setting, and I had an older cousin that did hair, and so like I always knew that was something that I wanted to do. So for me, I had like laser focus. So I'm like, and it's funny that you say that like you didn't finish in high school, you was being a kid, because literally like me and Aaron were the only ones of our class in like a 2 or 3 year span that had actually finished and got licensed. Like nobody like really took it serious, but that's a whole other thing. So I did, by the time I got to January of my senior year, I was done. And the stylist that I assisted, that's the only person that I had worked for, she needed somebody and I needed something to do, and I felt like this is good hands-on experience. I wasn't going to college until, not that I was leaving the state, because that's a whole nother thing, but like I wasn't going to college until, in August. I'm like, I need something to do. I want to make some money. So like, and I'm getting experience. I wasn't 18 yet, so I couldn't even take my test to get licensed. So I just had all these hours. And I went into the salon. But as soon as, like, baby, it was like, turn 18, go take your test. Because, like, one, I didn't want to lose the knowledge that I had learned. Because, if you don't listen, if you don't keep studying, it's going to be gone.
It's gone.
So I was like, I didn't want to lose the knowledge. And plus, I was just ready to get into, actually working in a salon setting and, like, building clientele. Because, again, I knew this is what I wanted to do. But I actually kind of was back and forth as I was building in the beginning and in between assisting. I did end up going to college. Only because my mom is an educator. So, like, she felt like, the beauty industry is different today than what it was then. And especially for older people, it's like, you're going to do hair full time. Like, it's always you planning people hair. Like, it wasn't a for real career. Having to take it seriously. So, it was like, you need a backup plan. And, like, I got very, very far along. And I just woke up one day and I was like, having a plan B is planning to fail. Because I'm already telling myself that I need something else behind this because it's not going to work, and I don't feel like my mom was, steering me in the wrong direction or giving me bad advice or whatever. I think she was telling me what she knew best, but I also knew what I was capable of and that this is what I wanted to do. So that kind of, I got my schooling done in high school. I only had to pay $400 for my kit because hair school got expensive. It's like $26,000. So I was glad I got it done, in high school or whatever. So I was able to move right into, the salon setting.
Yeah, see, so it's funny you said the college, because my mom's saying, my mom got like 20,000 degrees, that's how she came up, you know what I'm saying? But she knew, like, I was kind of a late bloomer with actually seeing that I actually wanted to do hair, because I did hair my whole life, but I didn't know if I wanted to make it a career, because I wanted to make sure that I could uphold the lifestyle that I wanted. You know what I'm saying? So
little did you know.
Right. It's so funny because my mom was like, girl, you're not going to be able to do what you're trying to do. And I'm like, all right. So then the person who I started working for, Gerard, when I started working for him and I started seeing his lifestyle and how he's only done hair.
That's
it.
Look, bitch,
so I needed that motivation to push me into. But yeah, I made it through like one semester of college.
Really?
Yeah, girl, I went to college because my mom is a veteran, so I actually went to college for free, and she was like, why don't you just go? So I went to one semester, and then I was like, baby,
listen, I wish I would have dropped out after one semester.
I know, it's just...
I did like 2.5 years. Like literally 2.5 years. I was probably like 6 credits away from an associate's degree. And I just like, honestly, I just look back at it like time wasted. My mom is a veteran too, right? But she had like just applied to get like her disability approved, whatever. So at that time, like my brother and sister, they got all of the benefits, but at that time, like I had to end up paying for it out of pocket. So I just look back at it like, okay, this was time wasted. This was money wasted. Like, and especially like I was going for, I don't want to be offensive, but a bullshit business degree. You know, they don't hold no much. It doesn't hold that much weight.
Yeah, I feel you.
So, and I'm like, especially like with the internet, everything I learned in them fucking classes that I took, I could have Googled. Okay, like I could have bought the textbook, read it, and like had what I needed. So it was just like, I just look back at like, I literally, I'm not gonna say I regret it, but I just don't feel like it was.
I mean, college ain't for everybody.
It was just not conducive to anything that I planned on doing. You know?
Especially looking back and seeing where you are now, it's like, man, that didn't benefit me at all.
None.
At all.
Like not even a little bit.
I can't even tell you what the classes was, baby.
Listen.
If it wasn't, if I wasn't worried about my man and then I'm getting this, I'm getting money working and I'm like enjoying what I'm doing too. That's another thing too. It's like, I enjoyed being at the salon. I was there all the time. I was happy doing that. So I was like, oh, this is it. Like, I don't want to do that.
Exactly.
And I actually am a hard worker. I do have a great work ethic. I am very smart.
Right.
So I literally made something out of something that I love to do. So it just worked out. You know?
And I think too, like, I think like, and I know like so many people, they don't want to like work under anybody, but these are like those kind of things that happen that you don't realize. I did work under somebody who had that lifestyle too. I worked under somebody who was doing 21 people in a day. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of, and it's crazy because like that foundation, like it stays with you. I'm sure you still got a lot of things from your assistant that you carry with you to this day. And it's like she used to do 21 people in a day. She had them moving like an assembly line, and money was like she was making money that was unheard of. Yes, like this is like, 10, 12 years ago, and she's making money that's unheard of. Yes. Like your parents have never made this much money. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of like
doing hair.
Exactly.
We're doing hair here.
Playing in people's hair,
What people think. Like you ain't gonna make it doing that.
Exactly.
That's
so
crazy.
It was kind of like, okay, like clearly, like I didn't know, of course, starting out, like what my long-term goal was with doing hair. I was like, shit, this looks like, right.
I can do something with this.
Right.
I can live off this.
Right.
That's how I was like, hold on, shoot, we about to be doing something. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, I had a job. I remember, my first job. Like I worked
what was
your
last job?
My last job, my mama got me that job at a medical lab. And
she mad at you?
Huh?
Is she mad about it?
What you mean? No, because
Did you quit on them people?
Baby, let me tell you something. I'm supposed to be at work every day at the same time every day, right? 7:30. But I didn't get there till 8:30. And I mean, I was acting foolish. Like, I just wasn't made for that. But it was... They loved me, though. They like, Ariana's a hard worker. When she finally get
here, right.
she gonna do her job.
Right.
And she gonna do it. But and it was just such a blessing, though, because I had that. Well, I had multiple jobs. Like I said, we was living our best lives. We was traveling real young. We were just living our best lives. And so I would just have all these jobs. I worked at Victoria's Secret, but anyways, my last job, I was like, all right, y'all, I'm gonna have to let this go because like this is like I'm doing charity
doesn't work for me.
Like this is I'm not making money here. I'm
doing charity work.
Like, and they knew it was like she don't want to be here.
I'm giving away my time.
Seriously, and I was working night shift. Like I was working like 7:30 to like 3:30 in the morning. Oh, so it's like, baby, I got to go because I got to be at the shop in the morning, and I'm going there.
Look, I'm going to the shop.
I'm going there.
I'm gonna be late over there counting up. Listen.
We was living, but and that's another lesson. Like, I wish I really would have not lived that hairstyle lifestyle. That money is coming so fast, and we just doing whatever with it.
Because you get to burn out a lot quicker.
I really wish I would have been like, okay, let me actually. We were responsible adults.
Right.
Like I paid my bills, but it was just like, whatever. I'm gonna eat. If I want to eat Ruth's Chris morning, noon, and night, that's what I'm gonna do.
See, I was such the opposite. Like I saved so much money. I remember like, they was like, what do Jazz do with her money? Like, they were like, what does she do with her money? Because, like, she don't buy nothing. She don't really do nothing. Like, and I worked so much that it was like I wasn't really able to spend no money,
that
like.
part too.
But they just always just like, what does she do with her money? Like,
we was in the streets.
Girl, I was saving.
I wish I was. Well, see, I had
that was a lot of money. Like
it was, but
how'd you even know how to spend all that money?
I found a way.
I mean, I learned eventually, but like initially, I was like, I don't know what to do with all this money.
I mean, like I said, we were doing things like, and that's we just been so low key our whole lives. So it's like, or our whole relationship together.
Right.
So it's like, I can't even. We just was doing stuff. We was experiencing we've done a lot of things all before the age of when we got married. I don't even know when I got married. I mean, I can't remember. I'm not good with dates. How old was I when we got married? 24.
Okay.
Before 24, 18 to 24,
it was wild.
Me and my man was we was doing everything. So that's why it's like now I don't even feel like I'm missing out on anything. Because I've been there, done that twice. You know what I'm saying? Right. But we were just experiencing life together. But my husband has always been Mr. Frugal, Mr.
Okay.
So I didn't have to be.
Right.
So I really didn't have no money knowledge. Okay. I really didn't have any because I didn't have to. Right. I could literally be that person that be like, all right, I'm gonna hand you this. You do what we need to do with it, and then I'm gonna just live my best life, whatever. And that's what it was. So I really didn't have to be responsible because I had, my old man. I mean, he ain't even old, but he act like old man.
Right. He's responsible.
He's very responsible. So I had him to lean on, and I was just. Yeah, I
think too, like part of my okay, so I was being grown, like soon as I turned 18, I'm out of here. Like, I moved out my mama's house, you know, and I was in that transition period of, like, basically, I was still, my first job was assisting my stylist, you know, but I'm also renting a booth in this same place, you know.
So wait, when did you start renting a booth?
Soon as I got licensed. So I started assisting her maybe like March of that year, and then once I was able to get licensed in like September, October, I started renting a booth. And the salon owner at that time gave me booth rent at a reduced amount or whatever until I built my clientele up. But I had like her days of the week that I had to be assisting her, shampooing, doing everything. So any clients that I was going to get or do were going to be around that. So my conflict really came in where I had to say, okay, I can't assist you anymore because now I don't have a whole lot of clients, but I have enough clients to where I can't
fit them all in on these little days.
Exactly. So, and it's like, I know what my goal is and I have to grow. And she was very, very supportive of that. So she understood. So it was like, okay, I got to stop. But when I stopped though, it's like, now the money is not the same. You know what I'm saying? But my grown ass being grown, you know, I'm doing my own thing. I got this apartment. I got these bills I got to pay for. I got all of this. So I was like, damn, like there was a drop in my income. And so I think like once I got back into the swing of things and I had built my clientele up, which actually didn't take as long as I expected. But once I had built my clientele up, I was just so like, I got to hold on to this money because I went through that period of not making as much money and being like, okay, how I'm finna pay this light bill?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, how am I going to pay my bills without going to get another job?
Yes.
Because it's like, obviously, putting that energy into another job is slowing me down from, you know what I'm saying, giving this my full potential. But I also got bills, you know? So I think once I started making money, I was like,
So you never
we just
did
gonna
inherit
save
the house?
this.
Like
Not,
as far as like as an adult,
not
like,
professionally, no.
Yeah,
You know, when I was a teenager, I got put out. Oh, my mom was a clean freak.
Yeah, you left early too, like 18. So.
Yeah, she's a clean freak. So like when I did hair in high school, girl, she's like, you are not rushing random people. Hair in my sink. This is where I cook my food at. You got these random people. Oh, she used to be so pissed.
I can imagine.
So look, them was my days of come wash.
Yeah.
Like,
no, for real, right? Back at the house, which is why, okay, like you know that's what we be saying. Like
it's
you're a
acceptable
professional
there, but you gotta, you know.
When you go to a okay. But anyways, but no, like you right. So like that's another thing too I was blessed with. That's another thing too I be feeling like a lot of people think, or I hate when I see people, these gurus that, oh, I got all the answers. No, you don't.
No.
Some of y'all just lucked out.
Yeah.
I lucked out. Okay, my cousin was working for Mr. Gerard, and I was blessed to be able to be put in that environment because those are been doing hair longer than I've been alive.
Right.
I would never have be where I am if I didn't work for them. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So it's like I was blessed to be put in that predicament. I was blessed to have a man that, you know, handle his business.
Right.
So it's like I could focus on my dreams and do whatever I wanted to, spend my money how I wanted to or whatever. And even have that motivation to be better because I'm like, all right, like everybody, you know, I need to really, you know, hone in and do what I got to do because I'm seeing everybody else and I'm like, I'm just kicking it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't even feel no pressure because nobody's putting no pressure on me.
Yeah.
Just yet. But
them bills was putting pressure on me.
Yeah, see, I wasn't paying no bills. It was
See, oh, you listen.
I don't know what baby. I was very spoiled. But like I said, but the good thing about me was, like I said, I was a hard worker because at one point I did have 3 jobs because I still wanted to do whatever I wanted to do at any drop of a whatever.
Right.
But, you know, that responsible part came a little later. But yeah, I hate when people like try to spread that, you know, it's like they got all these answers. They're going to give you all the answers to get where we got. Because honestly, I could tell you exactly what I did.
Right.
And you're not going to get where I'm going to get. It's just not going to happen because that's just not the alignment of what's going to happen for you.
Yeah, that's not your story. That's not, you know. Girl, listen.
I mean, because like really, you was ahead. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I didn't get my license till 2014. I think it was 12. I can't remember. But like, yeah. So it's like I was behind when I should have been right out of hair school.
Right.
But I was like lollygagging and just like living, you know, whatever. But it's like you were laser focused. So somebody else's story might not be the same because you know what I mean. So
yeah, that's
like
true.
Everybody's story is different.
It definitely is different, and I think you kind of gotta like. I feel like if you want it bad enough, if you're determined to succeed, you're gonna succeed. You know, your journey of how you succeed, how you get to the, you know, the end goal is definitely gonna be different for every person. But I feel like if you overall have a desire to succeed, you're gonna succeed. You know, but
and if you're good. You know what I'm saying? If you're actually good at what you do. A lot of people be in this industry for so long, and it's like you're mediocre. And I'm not even trying to be mean about it. It's like, but it's like you're not going to hit those, these people that you're looking at these high numbers, because
you're not doing the things or anything to push you or propel you to that point,
And sometimes that passion shows through. Like, I mean, I know we're both passionate. I'm just a passionate person, period. Right. So if I'm doing something that I'm passionate about, it's going to be amazing, right? But it's like, if you're not passionate about it, you can kind of tell.
You definitely can tell where there's a lack of passion.
Yeah. So
usually,
it's like,
you can usually tell it's a lack of passion there. Like, ugh, that's not good.
Because like I said, I was late every day to my job. I didn't care. I did not care. I do not care. Right up.
Let me ask you, how do you feel like, how long it took you to build like a solid clientele? Not necessarily the point of where I'm refusing people, but just like, okay, I got people coming consistently.
Constantly. Yeah, I can, like, basically, so I was going to ask you, when was the point, that's another question we'll get back to, but like, when was the point where you like solely did hair? But, because like that was your job, you know what I mean? That's what your career was. But I got to the point where, so that's what I say, I was doing hair in my apartment.
After assisting?
While assisting.
Oh, okay.
Before I got my license.
Oh, okay.
Before I got my license, I was always doing, sew-ins at my apartment, and I would do, when I did, the guy I worked for, when I did his sew-ins, because he don't do sew-ins.
Okay.
So I would do his sew-ins at the salon for his people.
Okay.
But then, like, he would style them and cut them and do everything else.
Oh, okay.
So, I was always, like, building this whole time. So then I got to the point where I was doing, when I got my license, honestly, I was so scared to pay people for it. Like, I was like, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to afford it. I have to owe you this money.
So many people be scared of that.
And it's crazy because if you think about it, like, if you really think about it, back then, when I first came in, it was $150 that I was paying. Mm-hmm. And it's like, $150 is one person. You know what I'm saying? Basically, or like two, or like three.
It's not something you can't do.
Yes, it's not something you can't do.
It's easily attainable,
You can definitely do. But I was so scared about it. So right when I started doing hair in the salon, I've been booked.
Oh, okay.
So like that's what I said. I've been blessed to have a steady clientele my entire career.
Okay.
Like I haven't ever had a not, like, my building was when I was building at the house. Because all the people that I used to do at the house came to the salon.
Okay.
Yeah, so I kind of built before I even got into the salon.
Okay.
So when do you feel like, or how long do you feel like it took you, I guess? Cause
I would say with me getting my license and like finally, I'd say it still was about a month or two before I actually like decided to stop assisting as well. So I would say maybe like a 3-month period. I remember distinctly, it was like Valentine's Day, and like all these people wanted to come, and I was like, okay, like cool, I'm gonna do it, cause like shit, I'm taking the money and I ain't got nothing else to do. And girl, I remember that last client, I didn't finish till 3 a.m. Like, I was just like, oh my God. And I realized, I'm like, okay, there's a demand here, you know what I'm saying? But also, that's when I also realized I needed an assistant. And I've had an assistant ever since. I've never worked without an assistant. I cannot work without an assistant. My schedule is not even set up to function without an assistant. But it didn't take long. I feel like when I stopped assisting my stylist, and I started showing up consistently, and I was actually like, especially being in the salon setting with other stylists, like I was able, hey, I'm overbooked, I can't get this person. Okay, I'll grab them for you. I'll get them in. Or, walk-ins. It was popular salon, so the walk-ins, I'm like, I'm here and I'm available because I'm not helping her. So I'm just sitting, but I used to show up. I just used to sit up there. I'm just waiting to see who's going to show up, who needs service. I was, doing my marketing, and like, that was social media was new, so I was getting on social media, but like business cards and like doing hair shows and just like trying to get my name out there. But it took me being consistent to be able to have like my best results. And when I did that, it only took a few months. Like it only took a few months to be booked for the whole week.
And see, when you said like that, so I was trying to be nice to who I was working for. I didn't want to let him or just leave him. So and we worked in the same shop together, of course, because I just started working at the shop he worked at. But it was like, like I am struggling to help you. I can't. So I remember when I was like, I don't remember exactly the date and time, but I was like, I can't help you no more. I can't help you no more. Like, I can't help you no more. I'm tired.
Get somebody else to do it.
I can't do it no more. But it was crazy because just like you said, I got an assistant very quickly after that because I became pregnant. So then I'm so used to, you know what I'm saying, moving and shaking. I'm like, God, oh, hold on now, I'm tired. Hold on, baby. I was like, you doing, like you said, 10, 20 people a day, like moving. So then once I got an assistant, then I really started getting into it because I was just like, oh, yeah, now
it makes life so much easier.
Whew. But yeah, that was funny. I remember he still to this day, like, hasn't got an assistant since me. And that's
really?
Yes.
Wow.
You wouldn't be able to handle it. The stylists today, people today are soft, period. So
they are very,
I mean, like, you wouldn't be able to
soft.
you wouldn't be able to handle. And like I said, like, I was literally doing 50 people in 3 days. Like, it was crazy. And I'm just like, oh my, and this is shampooing.
Right.
This ain't even,
because
you know what I mean?
back then it was like most, people's getting quick weaves and sew-ins, but it was mostly shampoo and sex. So like, it's
colors.
Right.
And you do rinses all day.
Yep. You might do a scalp treatment, but
Ooh, that was hard.
Rinse some relaxer out. You got somebody sitting down here at the end. And then,
all the bowls full, and you over all the bowls?
Over all of them. Like, this one need to be rinsed out in 5 minutes. You better got that timer set so you know when to go out, who's next. Like,
because they didn't be in my chair by 3 o'clock because it was like literally.
Boot camp.
But I mean, I feel like it made us great stylists. And I feel like majority of stylists that are great as far as the service, as far as the business, as far as
they had a good foundation.
They had a good foundation.
They worked with or around other service providers that were able, because at the end of the day, they have something that we don't. As a beginner, you do not have experience. You know what I'm saying? You don't have the experience, so you're literally everything that you learn will be the hard way if you don't have people or other people around you that have already done it. Say, hey, no, that doesn't work. There's a better way to do this,
Or seeing it. Just
exactly.
Seeing it.
Like, so it was just like, I feel like I agree with that most of us had a good foundation. And even like my assistant now, I'm saving her so much by giving her what I already know. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? She benefits so much, and it puts her. I agree. I feel like it puts us further ahead. But
and you got to think all these people that are coming to, because it's funny because like, so let's say a lot of his clients that had children and all these things, like, I'm doing their children.
Oh yeah.
And it's crazy because they just want to come to me because they've been knowing me their whole lives. Like, I started some people when they were like 5, and I started some people when they were 8 because he didn't even take children. You know what I'm saying? So in the beginning of mine, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll take children and things like that.
Y'all know how I feel about kids. They didn't last long in my
chair. I know they didn't last long with me, but a couple. I literally have a client that I've been doing her since she was 8. She's now like 16. I'm like, wow.
Right.
How you grow up like that, or like? But when I say. She works with some adults, baby. She like, I want my part here, and I want it like this. One time when I was first doing her hair, and I would do like cute little kid styles, I braid her hair halfway, and she wanted down the back. Baby, she said, I wanted it like 25%, not 50%.
Half? Oh.
I said, well, dang, you 10. You need to sit down.
She knows
but got
she
me
won't.
Together.
Listen,
still doing her to this day. She
listen.
said, don't play with me. I know what I like. And my mama paying for
Ain't nothing wrong with it.
So I have a certain type of clientele. But I mean, it's like, it's just crazy just seeing, like you said, like the growth. Like even like looking at her, like just seeing your growth from what you did accept and what you didn't, and then where you are now.
Right. And it's crazy too because like you were saying that you felt like bad. It's so bad. If she see this, she gonna be cracking up laughing because so when I first started with her or whatever, like, you know how my personality is. I'm not the friendliest I can, you know how I am. So, like, when I first did, like, the interview process with her or whatever, I was just, like, real nice and sweet because this is an opportunity for me. Like, I'm trying to get this job. So then, like, the client, so the way our bowls were set up in that salon, like, she would be farther down the hall and the bowls were, like, in the back. So they would go up there and tell her, like, yo, assistant, she kind of rude. Like, like, she not real nice, she not that nice or whatever. And she just kind of like blew it off for a while or whatever. And then finally she was like, you was just so nice. Like, now mind you, we had a personal relationship, not a personal relationship. Her and my cousin did hair at the same time. They did cosmetology in high school together. And they worked in the same salon together at one point, and I used to be in the salon every weekend. So she always knew me as a little girl, and she always known me to have that same personality. But she thought, once I did the interview process, like, oh, she's nice now, or whatever. No. So the client's like, yeah, she's kind of rude, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, I don't know what they talking about. Like, she'd say something.
I'm here to do my job. I do my job.
Because y'all not about to fuck this up for me.
Yeah.
Like, listen, this is a good job. I make good money. I'm getting good experience, blah, blah, blah. So it was just so funny. But in that process of just like talking to the clients and like getting to know them and being nicer to them, because she did tell me to be nice. But I used to tell them, like, I'm not going to be assisting her forever. And it's like I got clients from when she stopped doing hair that come to me now that always say that, like, you really said you wasn't going to be assisting her forever. And I'm like, no, I knew what my plan was. So when it was time for me to stop assisting her, I was like, shit, I'm out. She already knew. Like, even when I left from under her, because I was under her for a long time, like, and got my salon, and other people were kind of like, oh, she leaving you to open her own salon? Oh, she doing her own thing, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, she has been very clear with me from day one that, like, what her goal is. It was not a surprise. It was not a sneak attack. It was not I'm going against you. She knew what my goals were, and she was actually very, very, like, helpful in helping me to get to that, supportive. But nah, it wasn't no sad tears. I'm like, baby, it's time for the next stage,
Well, see, and that's another thing, too. So it was like when I worked in that salon basically for maybe, I can't remember how long we worked there, a couple years, but then and it was time for me to get a salon. And so it was like, we were like a three, like we come in threes. Like, even when I was his assistant, he was preparing for me. So he was like, she got to have a chair there because she is going to get her license. She is going to work here. Like, they looked out for me, like both of them, so it was like, now they work in my salon now. And it was like, it was always going to be like that. So then, like that salon owner, we told her, like, yeah, we all gonna go together. We came here together, we leaving together. Like, it was like
you
that.
You should have known, though. Like,
she did, but I feel like she did, because it was like, I mean, that's just what it was. Like, it's always been like that, and it always will be like that. Like, I wouldn't even know how to work, like, without them. I'd be like, dang, you know what I mean? It's like,
what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, I'm like, where, I ain't talked to them. I would say I would just be feeling weird. But, yeah, we built more of a family lifestyle in our salon. So it was like,
and I think that's important too, like having like a team. Like, you're always gonna be better. Like, the more people you put together that are focused towards a goal, you're gonna be better. Like, they were very invested in you growing, and like him saying, you're gonna be with me. Like, I need a chair for her as well. He's invested in your growth, and that helps. That foundation helps, and it's very, like, I hate that people, upcoming, like, service providers, people in all of the industries, like, they don't really understand the value of having that mentorship. You know what I'm saying? Like, they really don't.
A lot of people look out for you.
Yeah.
Because people steal. People, people will do you dirty and steal your clients. People will do that. But if you're in an environment where you don't have to worry about that, and all you got to worry about is getting your money, it is such a blessing to even have to experience that. Because if you over here watching your back every 5 seconds, like, golly,
and it's too, I feel like there were times when having the salon as a whole was very helpful, but having, like, working with her, because I feel like even after assisting her stop, it was still a mentorship. Yep. It was still a mentorship. She was still there for me.
You built a relationship.
Exactly. So even having that sounding board, or be able to say, hey, this client, because again, it's a lack of experience. So to be able to say, hey, this client needs XYZ, what do you recommend? What would you do? What is your opinion? And having that, instead of having to learn the hard way. And it may be even what some people are experiencing today, is you're approaching something that's unknown. You know what I'm saying? And you don't know how to handle this. So now it's trial and error. And that may be why some people are receiving bad services, because the service provider just doesn't know any better. So that's one of those things of value that comes from having mentorship and working under somebody and being able to learn from somebody else, or even just being in an environment where you're not closed off in a suite.
Yeah, I hate that. A lot of people, like, how do you feel about that? Like, you think, like, you think it should be like mandatory that you go into a full salon versus going into a suite?
I highly, anybody who asks me my opinion, I highly encourage them to go into a full salon setting, even if it's suites within that salon, being in that salon setting. I know the value of it. You know what I'm saying? Just like you know the value of it. So it's like, I highly encourage people, especially, I mean, like, literally from handling your money to down to, handling clients,
paying for products,
how to even schedule your clients in a timely fashion, like seeing how operating a full clientele, because you don't know this. In school, they do not tell you how to operate and best handle your clientele once you build a clientele in the actual workplace setting. So, like, you get a real life view of, like, dealing with conflict, all kind of things, while certain procedures are in place. And it's just like, the value, like, is you can't even put I can't even put a number to it. You know,
that's why I said I wouldn't be where I am today if I did not have those experiences and those lessons and those everything. I mean, just experiencing different type of people and knowing how to deal with them. They're his client. Those are his clients.
Yep.
And I was able to do this day in and day out.
Yep.
Multiple people.
So much.
Oh my gosh. All the different types of people. I mean, I learned how to shut up because, baby, I want to tell off everybody. I want to tell off everybody. Yep. I want to go, I want to tell you how I feel about what you said about me and da-da-da. And it's like, I learned how to, this is a place of business. You got to learn how to act.
Oh, that's crazy. I'm glad you said that because, like, I think a lot of that gets lost when you become self-employed. It's like, oh, I don't have to do this, or I can do this, or I can do whatever I want to, or it's still a business. Yeah. And if you haven't been shown how to run this like a business and you've never run another business before, I feel like working in a salon setting would be of much benefit to you because there still are standards. There still are rules that you need to abide by. There's still a certain way that you should handle yourself professionally. And if you come straight out of school, and let's be honest, I'm going to just eliminate the school because at least with school, they give you some kind of foundation, not the full thing. But if you literally roll over tomorrow, you took one class.
And you go get you a suite.
You are missing so much in between. You cannot tell me that you know how to do this and you've never done it before.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. Or you're a professional.
Right.
And you deserve this high amount of money because you've seen somebody else charges it or somebody else charges it in your, in your market area or whatever. But it's like, you losing.
I literally feel like up until I would consider from assistant to the time because I only worked with that stylist. Even when she took over the salon, I stayed with her. When she opened her new salon, I stayed with her. I never worked in another salon ever. And I feel like I would just consider that like that whole time a mentorship. Like I got to see and learn so much that was able. And she even told me she's like, I'm doing XYZ because of this. She used to push me. Yeah. She used to time me. You need to do XYZ because of this.
I have expectations out of you.
Exactly. And so it helped me. Like a lot of people look and they be like, how did she become so successful? Or, how is she able to maintain clients for this year? And it's that foundation. Yeah. It's that foundation. Like people want it so quick. But I think that we were together. I was with her for maybe 6 years. Like
I worked for 5 years as an assistant. 5 years.
You tell somebody right now to go be. Listen, to go even be an assistant for 6 months.
Girl.
They not about to do that.
Baby, they know
it all. They not finna do that.
They know it all in 5 seconds. They come in the door knowing it all.
Exactly.
First, but I actually don't need you.
They ain't
I don't even need you.
Right.
I'm here because I'm just here. You know what I'm saying? Then they learn what they got to learn. Then they out the door. And it's like, you ain't learned nothing.
But that's because they think that they've learned what they needed to learn because they don't know what it takes to do what they're doing in its entirety.
And for the longevity, because that's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Like, I saw that first things first. This man been doing hair for how long? You've been licensed for how long? You've been doing hair for how long? Longer than I've been alive? Boop. That's all I needed to hear.
Right.
What?
Picking the right person to work under does make a difference too. Because I feel like, especially if you don't know, you haven't had the experience, and you get under somebody who's teaching you bad habits, that can be extremely detrimental.
Now that's the thing too. I hate that.
Yeah.
Y'all teaching these bad habits, and you do have to have some sort of discernment though.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you know better than you see any shenanigans. You're like, okay, well I ain't gonna do that one. Or like, for instance, like I remember like the person who I was working for, he operates on his own time.
Oh Lord, that was my stylist too.
I get now that when you created some, you got some clout for yourself.
Right.
Come a little late. At the beginning, girl, he would have me. Let me tell you, baby. Every Saturday, we worked every Saturday, 5 o'clock in the morning. We called him the breakfast crew.
No.
4 people at 5 a.m. every single Saturday, unless he was out of town. If it was out of town, he looking at me like, "What you mean you out of town? You take your out of town when I'm out of town."
Exactly, and that's it.
But every single Saturday morning, do you know this man? Let's say it was 5 o'clock. He didn't show up till 5:30, but I had to be in the parking lot, and his clients would say, "Well, our Brianna's not here." Well, he ain't here either.
They was snitching on
Girl, they was snitching on me and everything. And I'm like, what? But he was like literally training me to be better than, you know what I'm saying? He like, girl,
my stylist
didn't
train me to be on time. We used to take bets on when she was gonna show up.
Stop. Get him
but
started.
That's a discernment because I know, like, obviously,
I'm not gonna do that part. But and she's allowed to do that part because she put in her time.
And her assistant was there. Mm-hmm. And you know what? Now to this day, like my assistant, she has a key. Yeah. And baby, I don't have to be there right at 9 o'clock, so I will not be there.
I know when to show up.
Because listen, I know exactly when you're gonna be ready to need something.
10:38, I'm gonna walk through the door. She's gonna be blow dried. I'm gonna silk her out.
Hello.
But we put in that time. We could do that now. But I'm saying, like, these people right at the gate, they think they supposed to. Well, I had to do this, girl. You're working for her, okay?
Exactly.
You need to get this money. You gotta build some kind of credibility. You don't have any credibility. You
None.
don't have anything.
Listen, and that's something. It's so funny because I'm teaching my assistant now. Like literally, it's almost like deja vu because like she's in the point where she's now renting a booth and like basically going through the whole cycle that I went through. And I'm just telling her, I tell her every day, nobody knows you. Mm-hmm. Nobody knows you.
Who are you?
Nobody knows you.
You're nobody in the beginning
at all. Nobody knows you. Like, so you
it's
need
like they don't want to hear it.
She's very receptive.
Okay, good.
But I be having to tell her like every day though, like nobody knows you. So because nobody knows you, you have to move differently. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think I had told you before, if me and you don't post on social media, we know that we still have our clients. You know, we've built that foundation. You don't have that. Mm-hmm. So there are certain things that you need to do. It's not even optional. You have to do that. You have to. So I just be telling her, I be like, listen. She like, okay. But.
Girl, I mean, I or like, don't even look at me. Like I said, you have to have your own discernment. Yeah. You cannot mimic everything that I'm doing. Right. Mimic it. Because I'm at a whole different place in life than you are. Yeah. But because you definitely have to get your worth up. You do. You do. You have to prove yourself to these people.
You do. You absolutely 100%
like you said, 3 o'clock in the morning, been there. We've been there, 3 o'clock in the morning. You over here talking about, I don't work past 7. What?
You just started. You need to work every fucking chance you can. Did you go through like the hair show stage?
Yes. Okay. I was going through 2, 3, 4 hair shows a year. Oh, I loved it though. I did love
like
it.
The best time now. Oh my God.
COVID really messed that up though.
Girl, it was fucked before COVID.
You're right.
Hair shows ain't been the same.
Bad. Yes, it was definitely the culture changed
for sure.
For sure. But when COVID happened, it was like nothing, and I don't even know how they can come back from it. Is what I'm saying.
That's true.
But no, girl, because listen, when I think I literally was like Big Booty Judy. You know. Yeah. She had this competition at the hair show.
Okay.
I was a part of that competition because they picked me because they was like, "Are you a slept on?" And that's the thing. It's funny because I was trying to grow my social media.
Right.
Because I was.
But you ain't slept on.
Yeah, I was booked. So everybody was like, "Why are you?" I'm like, I'm trying to do something. Like, you know what I'm saying? Right. Like, this is not that. But yeah, so they ended up picking me, and I went. So like, it was like, oh, it was just so fun being in competition. Right. Like, it was fun. It wasn't like, or just going and seeing.
It was fun. It was like, I feel like Studio 54, like those old hair shows, dude. Like that. Like people used to get dressed up to go to hair shows. Yes,
I did Studio 54, the last one they did.
Really?
I did the last because it was my first year. Okay. And so I wanted to do that last show. It was like Thanksgiving or something like that.
Oh, I went to that show.
I was there, and I had to act a fool. No. It was, girl, I acted a fool on the stage because the man that was doing it, he was like, they didn't turn I had like glow in the dark people, and they didn't turn my lights on and off when they were supposed to or whatever. So then he came back out when it was done. It was still cute, but it was like, it didn't hit like it was supposed to. But when he came out, he was like, yeah, she wasn't ready. Girl, do not.
I think I do vaguely remember that because he was like talking shit or something, but like he was like,
a little shady. But trying to be funny, but baby, not me.
I remember.
Said, get my shoes. I had my shoes. Get my shoes. My husband gave my shoes. Went out there, baby.
Listen, y'all not gonna.
Hello, my name is Abriana. Like... You not gonna do that right here.
Right.
If you would have turned the lights off when you were supposed to, you'd been paying attention, it would have been fine.
Hello.
But hello, my name is Abriana. You know how to put my girl. Let me let y'all know who I am.
Y'all think it's me and her. She always can't wait to go off on somebody. She be so ready to go.
I need to, but I've calmed down a lot.
Okay.
I'm old now. But I was ready to fire everybody up like, it's my first show. It was my first show and my last show. Oh. I haven't ever done another show, like actually like physically did hair.
See, we did our salons. We did a lot of hair shows because hair shows was like really a way to showcase your salon and like what y'all could do. Even though like the hair that you do in a hair show is dramatized, but like it was like, okay, you show up as a salon. This is what we do. This is what we offer. It was always a thing of like, being popular. popular, so it was like you had to bring your A game.
Yes.
Like you had to come correct. So we used to do a lot of stuff as a salon, and like we used to have like 12, 15 models.
I was about to say, girl, I did 14 people by myself trying to make a name for myself. But
I feel you. Look,
and that's what
I got these 3 over here. They'll be done. They gonna be.
But y'all had a big salon too, so I did it all myself. Like it wasn't a salon; it was Hella Beautiful Hair by Abriana.
Right. Okay.
And I was like I was working in a salon, but I wanted to put a name on. Girl.
Right. No, I feel you. You do what you gotta do, but baby, like
choreography, all that.
I was just gonna say I remember. It's so funny because like the salon culture is just not the same no more, and I miss it so fucking much. But I remember, like, we used to do our practices with our girls, like, outside in the parking lot because that was enough space, right? And, like, other salons that would be in the hair show, because you knew who you was competing against. They used to, like, try to ride past our practices to see what we was doing, like, see what our routine is, see what our music was. Like, I know. It was just, it's just such a different time.
It is. And I don't know if we could even bring, because I always be thinking, like, we should have we should just throw a hair show. People tell me, I'm like, baby, it's not the same. It's not the same. People don't support things the same.
They definitely don't.
So it's like, you will be doing it for an empty house. And then it's like, and then you feel bad for the stylist because they put all this time and effort. And then maybe they, show up naked. Everybody want to just be... You used to be naked at the end.
Yeah, that's true.
They was painted, okay? They was painted.
My God, we had people painted. Oh.
Everybody was painted.
Let me tell you, we had these twin girls that used to model for us or whatever, and we did like an Egyptian theme for the salon one time, and whatever reason, we decided that like we were gonna paint them all white, right?
Egyptian. Okay, like
they had I'm gonna find a picture. We're gonna have to like clip it into the video.
Yes.
But we just had this idea, like we're gonna paint them all white. They had like grass, gold, spray painted leaves all over them. Like it went with the whole thing, right? And at that time, we thought that was the best shit ever. Yes. Looking back, they look like white chicks. Like it was, we'd be like, why did we do this to them? Why did we do this to them? But I'm telling you, at the time, it was like, shit, we about to kill this shit.
We gonna kill it, okay? Girl. The whole salon, you gonna be knowing about us they gonna be talking about us. They gonna be talking about our girls.
Girl, like, we had a whole body painter come in, like, she did it on site while we was backstage. Girl, we thought this was the best time. Girl, they look like white chicks. They look like white chicks.
And then they be naked, heels, and then something on their head where they gotta be like really like.
And you remember it had to be a tryout for you. Everybody couldn't be no model. Like you could not just be a model. Like.
And then that's when the crystals on the lips was heavy. So you was doing that. I mean, it was just a show. It was just so fun.
It was a show for real. Like it really was. It's a culture that like you really had to be there and to experience. And I don't feel like these newer stylists, they embody that because they didn't go through that. And not to say that that's nothing against them, but like if you grew up in a certain sweet spot, you really got to see.
But it's honestly been a long time.
Yeah,
because you gotta think it's like our lifespan. So like I'm 31, right? And it's like I still didn't even get like the goods. Like you see people like Tony.
Yeah.
He been fly.
Oh, he
been a part of it.
Yeah.
Like there was traveling stylists, like the person I worked for, he traveled the world doing hair.
Yep.
It's like the life of hair is never ending, first of all.
Right.
And ever evolving.
Right.
But it's just crazy that it's just like completely different. Left than what.
And it's crazy because like it's always been a very, very lucrative industry, and now at its height, the beauty industry is I think $1 trillion at this point industry, and I love that. But like the essence, the soul,
it's cold.
It's not there. It's not there.
Mm-hmm.
We are definitely still thriving and still making a lot of money and still having a lot of success in this industry. But that culture, that feeling, that nostalgia that you get, like it's not here.
Why do you think it's because they've dropped the professionalism and it's like both sides, because I feel like we don't treat people like human beings. Like on both sides sometimes. Yeah, like definitely. Stylists might treat people as a number, and then people treat people with people treat stylists just crazy. Like you're my service provider, so service me, and that's it. And it's like like I said, like you experience people for years. You know what I'm saying? Like I've done people's prom. I've done their wedding. I've done their baby shower. You know what I mean? Like all these events of their lives that you've been a part of. And it's like now it's kind of like I don't know. It's just not that anymore.
It's definitely not. I really can't like pinpoint the exact thing that I would say kind of made it fall apart the way that it is, but it's something is definitely missing. I actually saw a post on Instagram where this lady had like, she was like going through the whole thing of how she missed the beauty shop, and she was showing the different,
rapping. Was that one?
I don't know if she was talking about the smell, but she was talking about how like somebody come in always eating, somebody bringing their badass kids, somebody in the chair need to move their part, and you know, just like it was just really like it was a vibe, it was an environment, it was a community, like this was an experience, you know, and on a weekly, every week basis. So I don't know what it is, and it may be because we have separated ourselves so much, you know what I'm saying? We don't really have that. Nobody wants to work in the salon environment. Everybody wants to do their own thing, and everybody's building a brand. And it's, nothing wrong with it, but that may be
I used to say that to my friends. So I have like 3 other good friends that are good or like very good in the industry and have grown their own brands, right? And I used to be like, man, if we would all just like team up and just like buy a building and just like do hair in there, we would all be amazing. But we also stuck on having our own brand that we can't really, it could never happen. And I feel like it was different back then. They was okay with being a team player, being a part of something.
I do agree with that.
Yeah.
They were definitely very, very good with being a part of something bigger than them. Like, this is the salon, whatever the name was, it's like you was just happy to be a part of that, to do your piece, to be a part of that. And as a whole, it was great because now this salon just moves, it moves forward. But like,
and
when
we're all good.
Individual here, and, efforts are being put all over the place, that it's kind of like
versus coming to one building and being taken care of.
Right.
Somebody gonna take care of you in here. We gonna figure out somebody for you. Versus you going here.
You didn't have to turn people away
at all.
You didn't, and it was always somebody in your salon that was gonna be able to take somebody. It was gonna be somebody who could do your short hair, who could do your quick weaves, who could do your nails, who could do. You know what I'm saying? It was always gonna be somebody. And you could come to this place and get
it was still a good experience overall.
Very.
And even the crazy ones, like I've experienced some crazy experiences in the salon, but it was like, man, talking back on it, like that was crazy. We went through that. Do you remember when it was like in the early like teens, like 2012, 20 maybe, or 20 like 10, when they was robbing, like they was saying that they was robbing hair salons, they was making everybody take off their clothes. You remember that?
I forgot about that. Oh my God.
We used to talk about that. So like it was like for like a month straight, everybody was like, I got my cute panties on because if they come in here, it makes me take off my drawers.
I got my cute panties on.
I got my cute panties on because y'all gonna catch me slipping. But it was so fun. We just had some good times back in the days. Like it was so. We went like for my breakfast club. Like I said, when we was had those people, everybody would bring in a dish. We would have breakfast brunch.
Yep.
We was mimosa, and mimosas, everything like.
Yep.
And getting our hair done. You know what I'm saying? It was like you knew it was.
And
it
you
was
like
great.
too, like you knew birthdays when they were coming up, and like you knew like this person is having a birthday, this person is having a celebration, this person is, you know what I'm saying? Like it just, I don't know, it was a lot of togetherness. Yeah. It was a whole lot of togetherness, and maybe that's what made the culture what it was, because like people had to care for someone other than themselves. You know, as a whole, it was like a bond, you know?
That's crazy. That's like super gone now.
It's so obsolete. It's not even funny.
It's gone. And it's like, and also it was like everybody, like you said, it was something for everybody in there. Like it was no problem with me saying, oh, well, I can't do you, but such and such can do you. Hold on, let me call her real quick.
Let me see where she at.
Yeah, like it's no problem. Why we so...
She'll be like, okay, I can be there in an hour.
Yeah.
Go get you some food or something. Come back. She'll be back,
Or maybe I can get you shampoo, and then, when she get in here, I'll get you, what I mean? Like, she'll get you going.
They're working together, But now, and I understand it, because running a business, having a brand, I understand it. It's like, no, these people aren't going to come together. Not to say it couldn't work, but most businesses will not coexist because it's a conflict of interest, And I get it. I know it sounds bad on the surface, but most people are not going to be okay with recommending your brand over their brand when they sell the same thing. And it's completely understandable.
And that's what it has come to. Like, we all are actually business people past just a service.
Yep.
So it's like we all have our individual businesses, so it's different. So that's crazy. I definitely think that us being like product providers as well as service providers change the game.
Definitely.
Because we were trying to monopolize. We really can't work together unless they work kind of under you, like work for you type of thing.
Yep.
And then we
and
wasn't
a lot of
that.
people aren't okay with working under. You got some people who don't mind. They're glad to be a part of the team, but it's really not a lot of people this day and age that really want to work in that team environment. They're, for self. And like I said, I can't really knock it because I'm for self. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm building a brand, I'm building a business, but it is that conflict of interest and why people, can't really come together and work together, so we don't have that salon culture in that community. And you remember, like, in the salon, people used to pull up with food plates for you to buy. The boosters was coming through, like
CD, man.
Everybody, incense, like everybody was coming by, and you like really got to. It was an experience, It was really an experience. Now when you go, it's probably gonna be you and that service provider, and that's it. Like, you don't have a full-on experience.
And it was worth it for them. They knew if they was coming to the salon, they was gonna make some money because they had so many.
Oh, they knew they was finna come from the back to the front. Listen, clear it out.
And I'm talking to all y'all. Okay,
everybody. So it's just different.
Even that's a major factor because I'm like, what has changed? That is a major thing that's changed. We all have become like, it's just the business has grown on a different level.
Right.
But it's like, because it's like I don't think you can ever get back to that.
I don't think so.
Because even when you work, because I feel like you said, like even assistants and things like that, even when you work under people don't want to work for nobody. They really don't want to play their role either.
No.
And I definitely felt like my entire time I was an assistant, I played my role.
I agree.
Know what I'm saying? So I didn't step out of my place. You know what I'm saying? I feel like nobody does that anymore.
What my place was, for sure.
I'm the assistant.
And I was okay with it.
Yes.
And you know what I'm saying? I was happy with it, and I was, because again, I understood the value that was there. And I also felt like at that time, that was like the natural progression. Like, it wasn't normal for people to just go do their own thing at that time. So it's like, I fell in line with what you should be doing. You need to get some experience. You need to get around some other people, and you need to work. Especially like when I went into the salon, I was like right in that. So Instagram was like getting kind of popular. So it was a good way to reach people, you know what I'm saying? Because people were starting to use it as a tool. But before that, like most people, that's not typically how people were going to find you as a stylist. So it would be odd, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I said. We used to have, they're going photo books. This is what I be doing. this, you know what I mean? Like, I remember I used to go, do you remember Miss Lanteria?
Yes.
She was known, you know what I mean? Or they were known because they were doing Lanteria shows at the club and everything. But like, I remember she had a book at her salon of all her stuff, and she had it was like a red book, but she had all the pictures in there was black and white. Like, it was like we were really, like I said, marketing. We was always marketing.
Right.
But it was
it's
like
just different.
Different. It was way different. But yeah, it's just.
And I think too, like, but I definitely, because I was in that sweet spot, I went through I got business cards, you know what I'm saying? Leaving business cards on cards or leaving them at the beauty supply. I went through the stage of having to make up flyers and, print with the pictures on there so you can see this is a bigger, this is what I do, saying what services I offer. I went from, if you and your best friend come, then I'll give y'all 50% off, or if you refer this many people, whatever the case, if you let me try to style on you, I'll do this service for free. Like, I really went through that stage of having to build a clientele. It wasn't as simple as me posting. I don't
think people do that anymore. Like, I'm convinced.
I don't think so.
I know people that are not good at a service. No shade. Not good. And will be like, it's $250. And it's like...
They're not good at them.
Not good. Not good. And you will be like, my time is worth. Girl, what? You know how many styles I did for free?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, what?
Yep. How many styles you did for free?
Just for advertisement?
Yep.
Just so somebody can say who did your hair?
Yep.
And it can come back to me?
Yep. Like, that was the work you had to put in. You had to be able to give up something because, again, nobody knows you. You weren't trying to get your name out there. You're trying to set the tone. And that was I did that even being in a salon environment where I was able to pick up walk-ins and being in, picking up the overflow of clients. So imagine not having that and not marketing and not, you know what I'm saying, and being in a suite. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is how you're going to reach. And the way that the algorithm and just Instagram and the way that it runs changes so often. You cannot rely on social media to build a clientele because the people, your potential clients, may not even see you on social media.
Period. Don't even be on social media.
You have to use those word of mouth and those other forms of advertising. And I feel like just even doing the hair shows, doing the hair shows, doing the flyers, giving away services,
or being friendly. You have to talk to people. Like you actually have to talk to people. Because I mean, I've had people tell me like I said, in all my time offs and things like that, they're like, man, I literally sat in the chair and we didn't say not one word to each other. And it's like the complete opposite. Of course, me, I'm gonna talk your head off probably, but it's like, it's just things that you just don't. You have to learn how to, know.
You can't not be social. You can't not be social and not do all these other things too. You know what I'm saying?
And not being amazing. Now,
exactly.
If you're amazing, they'll sit there and shut up and get their hair done.
But if nobody knows you to know you're amazing, it don't matter.
Yes.
Like you gotta reach the people. So,
gosh.
I think like going through that stage and being able to like really build a clientele, like, and building it from scratch, because you are working from scratch, and just like being creative with how you're going to build this clientele and using that to your advantage to, and be willing. You don't have to get paid for everything.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Everything doesn't have to be payment. Like what can
money,
you get from
money?
In money, yes.
Everything can't be monetized because it's gonna come. And you know how it's so easy to say that though. It's so easy to say that, I know, and I know that people be like, I need money now. But it's like it's not gonna be
trust
easy.
The process. I know it sounds so cliche, but
true,
you literally do have to trust the process.
It's very true.
And be consistent. Consistency is definitely key. You have to be consistent
and be honest with yourself. Like, be honest with yourself. I'm not to this day, if I don't feel like I'm like up to whatever, I'm not leveling myself with that person because I don't think I'm there, or you know what I mean?
Right.
And I think I'm great, right? I think I'm amazing, but there's certain things, like I said, like the short hair, I cannot help you.
Yeah, definitely not.
Why am I gonna put this huge number on something that I can't really do?
Right.
And then I'm over here just because of my experience, because of who I am, and because you think I have a platform on social media, that means that I'm supposed to just charge. That's not actually the case.
Not
you know
at
what I'm
all.
saying? So it's just like, y'all be a little more realistic. Like, stop looking at these people and thinking, oh, she did it, I can do it. Like, you can look at that and aspiration and things like that, but also be realistic and be smart and take the time to actually do what this person actually did.
Right. You definitely gotta follow the blueprint. You gotta at least do that.
Bit.
Like
a little work,
like to get, even if you're trying to get a fraction, you're gonna have to do a little bit of something.
It's not just gonna fall in your lap
at all.
It's not. And if it do, you better pick it up and run with it, and don't just let it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't let that blessing fall. If you was like, working in a big salon in the city, and you working with some of the best people in the city, and you're not amazing, whose fault is that?
Oh, 100% your fault.
You know what I'm saying? So
100% your fault. So let me ask you this: at what point do you feel like you realized that you were ready to open your own salon?
I think that was all out of like, I'm not really a vain person, but I think that was all out of like vainness and like wanting my own and wanting to do things my way. And I don't think I actually was ready. Like, I think that I actually because I remember the person that we was working, or the salon owner we was working with, she was like, having a salon is hard. Having a salon is it. She was like trying to tell me, but I wasn't listening. I wanted to do it my way.
We know better.
I'm good, girl. I'm doing. I mean, I wasn't like listening like I should have. So, but I got to the point where, like I said, I was booked. I was great. I didn't have to take a new client if I didn't want to. All those things. But it was like, it was mainly because I just wanted it how I wanted it.
Right.
I wanted a certain thing. I wanted a certain look. I want a certain environment for my clients. It was like more like aesthetic and all that stuff.
I could definitely see that. Yeah.
It wasn't really like I need my own space. I didn't need my own space. You know what I'm saying? Because honestly, baby, I will pay your boo friend, okay? I will go to your
knowing what we know now.
Yes.
I think I probably would have left the salon around that same time, because like I always wanted a salon, and I felt like I got to a point where, okay, like I've had clientele consistently long enough to where I know that I can afford. For one, I had enough money saved up that I could afford, and it did become a thing of like, okay, I want things to be ran the way that I want them to be run. And so I think like the deciding factor is when we actually had moved into the salon, the next salon, it was an open concept. Whereas before it was like kind of like, it was like we had rooms, but it just didn't have doors on it, but you still had your own space. And then we went into like literally like you on the floor.
On the floor.
And so I didn't really care for that concept. I didn't have as much space. And I kind of was like, I outgrew this. You know what I'm saying? So I felt like at that time, that was a good time, you know, to go ahead and move forward. But, child, listen.
If I knew
know
then,
now.
if I knew then what I know now. But
it's crazy because like even as close as me and her were, at that time I still, and even seeing what all she was dealing with, it's still like you have no idea.
You have no idea.
Like you have no idea.
You experience it, and it sucks that it has to be that way.
Right.
Because you signed the contract, so you can't just try this out. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no trying out. You doing it. If you open this line, you spend all that money, you doing it. But it's like we don't understand what all goes into being a business owner until you become that business owner and have to actually run this business, run your business as far as being a hairstylist, and then you got products, you got to run that business. I mean, it's a lot, and
it's just the responsibility of like the financial responsibility of, you know, you're not now just responsible for yourself, because I don't think that people realize that booth rent that you're paying, or even that salon rent the suite rent that you're paying, it only covers a portion of something so much larger,
so much bigger.
Oh, it's so much bigger than that. So like, you know, it's hard to fully grasp it that like there's light bills, there's insurances. This is, you know, if this booth is not full, you know what I'm saying, but I estimated for this to, you know, cover this and it doesn't, you know, it's so much that is behind there that you don't know about.
And you find out, honey. You'll find out, because like
the
I
hard
said,
way.
even just dealing with so many different type of people. Like, well, this ain't even okay. So, because I forgot what we was just saying.
I was just talking about the salons, but yeah, we'll have to basically like we'll do a separate episode that'll be specific to like just opening a salon and like things that we knew and wish we knew before moving into a salon, and how what we thought we knew was not enough, you know.
Yes, because I mean, we could just go on and on and on, and this is like been our longest, you know, podcast, and it's because like we just
the journey has been long,
and we're still experiencing it. We are still in it, still experiencing it, still seeing the growth and the ups and the downs and all these things. So,
and I'm not where I want to be. What about you?
You said what?
I'm not where I want to be,
and I'm not where I want to be. That's what I was saying. Like, we still got time. We still got things to do.
And it's crazy because like we've been talking, and like we haven't not even in full detail, but it's just been a long process. And it's crazy because you look at people and they like, oh yeah, this just don't happen overnight. It's crazy, and it's just like,
I'm gonna open up a salon, or I'll probably get out of school and I'm gonna open up my own instantly, and then I'm gonna have my own hair, and I'm gonna have my own.
And you can,
like,
you definitely can, but it's
how
still
long
a process.
It took you to get your vendor.
Like, right.
People will get get a vendor.
A good vendor. Let's be clear, because if you're selling bullshit, this don't apply to you. But a good vendor, do you know how much money gets spent on finding a good vendor? And let's not even get started on those fucking vendor lists that are full of bullshit ass vendors. Like,
it's never ending. This conversation is going to go on and on. We're here for it. We hope you're here for it, because we got something to say. And I know y'all care about this, okay? I know y'all want to hear this, because some of y'all need this, okay? But yes, no, that's a whole nother thing right there.
Child.
Because y'all think y'all supposed to just get it, and it's supposed to be, you know, tomorrow I'm about to use this hair, and tomorrow I'm about to make $1 million because I'm my hair. And I started off with $100. Don't you hate what they say? I started off with $100, and now I'm a millionaire. Okay, but don't even open the door, because we will be here.
So you did a $100 investment. Okay.
And now you're a millionaire.
What, stocks or something? What? Like you didn't.
Stop it.
Unless you bought a product that has like a fucking, it's like what, 50 cents a make or something, and you had quite a few and you doubled it or some shit like that. Like you didn't. $100 is not.
$100 and I'll take you nowhere. $100.
It's not gonna get, especially out of 2023. Don't be fooled into thinking that in 2023 that $100 is gonna get you. Unless, I don't know, maybe it's a pyramid scheme.
Hey. Ponzi away, baby. I don't want nothing away. I don't want nothing.
Ponzi fun.
Have it, okay? Because and then it's like you gotta have some kind of integrity. Stop selling these people anything. Golly,
they don't care. They just want to make a profit.
Period. And that's a whole nother thing. But thank you so much for tuning in to the Beauty Talk podcast.
Y'all could comment below too and tell us, like, I know we kind of like gave a brief overview because we got so much history of like our journey to where we are now. So if it's something we missed or something that you want to hear like more about specifically, then comment it below and let us know.
And
or
if you can relate to that, like you could relate to both our journeys. We have kind of different journeys, but we have, very impactful, things that are similar. But if you could,
it's crazy though. That is true. Like we do have a lot of things in common, even though we took a very different route. That we have a lot of things that are like you can't negate. Like this is part of the process.
Yeah, and I think that's probably about anybody that is at
I feel like that's true. Business. Most successful people, even like outside of the beauty industry, you're gonna see same common factors. And like it's usually that consistency, that hard work, the determination, the drive, like. Discipline, it's
and time. Everything takes time. Let's leave with that. Everything takes time. Nothing is overnight. No, unless it's just
you're gonna fail.
You're gonna fail. It's okay. It's great to fail. Because I have had some learn. It is.
It is. Ooh,
I've learned some things, and I said, "Baby, you don't have to do it to me again."
Listen,
one time. That's all I needed.
Exactly.
So we will see you on the next episode. Thank you so much. Until next time.
Thank you for listening to the Beauty Talk Podcast. Please like, subscribe, and give us 5 stars. Email us at thebeautytalkpodcast@gmail.com so we can add your opinion to the conversation. You can find us at YouTube by searching The Beauty Talk Podcast and by Instagram and Facebook, The Beauty Talk Podcast. Thank you for listening.